There's a lot of triangulation going on right now. There's a conflict that somebody's going through, and it seems like this conflict is involving like a group of people, or it's like three people. It's a three party. I keep hearing the number three. So this could be actually like three different people. It could be three groups of people. It could be like a combination of that. And also, for some people, this might be like an argument that you're in with somebody else who's two-faced, or they have like two sides to them. Okay, take it how it resonates, whatever that means to you. Don't force anything, but if things are feeling very chaotic for you right now and you have been going through somewhat of a conflict, let's get a little information on this. So we're gonna do person one, person two, and person three. Again, person two and three could actually be two different people, or like it could be, or like two different groups or something like that. Or it could be like one person who's two-faced, and you'll just see like both sides of what they're presenting to you. So let's get a little bit of a read on this conflict. So we'll call this person one, or person A. What's going on with them within this conflict? We have Ace of Pentacles that came out, and at the bottom the Ten of Cups. Really interesting. This is like somebody who's offered stability. We have the wind howling outside right now. So it seems like your guides, actually, with the Ten of Cups that's been coming out, your guides and your ancestors have been talking to you very, very heavily. Or this might be you, this might be the other person's energy. Take it, again, how it resonates. But for person A, their guides have been speaking to them very, very heavily. And this conflict seems to have been an offer to person A of stability. So even though it may feel like there's chaos and instability right now, it's like something that is helping them to achieve stability. What else is going on here? Got the Page of Pentacles coming out too. It's a lot about communication, the offering of gifts, like cultivation of gifts. We have the Four of Cups coming out as well. Well, so far in for person A, we have Pentacles and Cups coming out. Pentacles are like stability, material gifts, material like responsibilities, things that need to be done, not just like, it's not just in the mind, it's things that need to be done with the body. Steps that need to be taken to achieve goals. And it seems like person A has been on somewhat of a journey at which it feels that they're at the beginning of. It's like a new beginning, a new start that's being offered to them. And like beginning to see the fruits of their labor pay off. Also, like really beginning to see their skills increase. It doesn't feel like they've mastered anything yet, but it does feel like they're working on things and that the skill is increasing. Then we have the cups right at the bottom of the reading. So that's like Ten of Cups, Four of Cups. Cups are about emotions and intuition. It's like this gift that was being offered to person A is one in which they couldn't actually see. They couldn't see it as a gift. They were having it or are having a difficult time seeing this offer as a new beginning or as a gift of some sort. There might be like boredom or depression here. Burnout. There might be burnout. Overall, this feels like somebody who is working on their ancestral gifts. This person might be a Black or Indigenous person of color. Oh, person A with the Four of Swords is definitely needing rest. Needing rest, doing a lot of self-reflection. You have the Lovers on the bottom. It seems like this person might even be looking to a lover or to relationships for help for this rest. Or that a relationship, it's like they are offering. For some of you, actually, for some of this, again, maybe you or you may be recognizing somebody else who was part of the conflict. The person the offer that they're getting in the like Ace of Pentacles, that offer of a new beginning of stability is coming from a lover. And that's not going to be for everyone, but for some. Coming from a lover. But it's like they're in a moment of rest. This person hasn't actually like come out since the conflict. It seems like they haven't actually been talking to anybody since the conflict, but that they have still been achieving happiness in themselves, or that's something that they're working on. Tell me more about the conflict. They're part of the conflict. I like this. For person A, we have the Empress. And we have Temperance at the bottom. So this person was, I feel that they were in a moment of imbalance. And that they stood on business. It's like, it feels to me like somebody in this conflict like did like a mic drop. They were like, this is how I feel, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I see. Drop that mic, got out of there. And now they're, in that Four of Swords energy, that like resting, needing to rest because this was a very, very big ordeal for them. And then they just kind of like took a step back and they didn't pursue this situation anymore. They didn't pursue the solution to the conflict, didn't pursue the relationship. And then we had Temperance in reverse come out on the bottom, which is like imbalance. I see Libra energy here. I see Sagittarius, Capricorn, Taurus, Scorpio, Gemini, something about sunflowers might be significant for somebody. Or also like those little heart candies, like from like the ones that you get around Valentine's Day that have like the little inscriptions on them. Somebody here also might be working on their connection to their divine femininity. Somebody who's been, yeah, that sounds like a confirmation. If you didn't hear that little beep outside, the honking of the horn. Saw 11:11 on the timer. Okay, so yeah, there's somebody in here, especially this person, A, has been working on their connection to their divine femininity. And learning to stand in their power. And if that's you, regardless of the sex you were born with or the gender that you identify as, you are really standing in your feminine power. I also get the sense from the Temperance card, actually, that there is some gender nonconformity in this group. So somebody could be like gender fluid, they could be non-binary, they could be trans. It's like something about them is very non-conventional. It's not just like a queer person, but it has something to do with gender and sex, like gender and sex, or like sexuality. I get the feeling that this person is the person A is somewhat of like has somewhat of a marginalized identity. So if you don't know what that means like someone whose identity is not normalized necessarily. So they might still deal with oppression and hardships specifically because of their abnormalities, whatever that means. So they could be a person of color, like I mentioned, a person who's like gender non-conforming, gender bending in some way, a queer person who is actually going about like creating like a traditional kind of family. It's interesting, like that it's like someone who's non-traditional but also like doing something that maybe makes other people feel uncomfortable, it feels like. And it feels like their whole existence is it feels like their whole existence has been them having to fight for recognition, fight not even just for recognition. It's like they've been told they're wrong. Everything about them is wrong. So that's why this person might be burnt out. And it feels that from this conflict, person A decided to stand on business, to have some self-respect finally. This conflict was a gift to this person because it gave them the ability to stand up for themselves. For example, they, and I think it's interesting that it's like, it's a blessing in disguise. That's what this Four of Cups means to me. It's a blessing in disguise. Something that really caused this burnout with like the Four of Swords energy, right? something that left them burnt out. And I don't think it's just the conflict that left them burnt out. I think it's, like I said, they're a marginalized person who has to deal with a lot of stuff on a daily basis. It's like the onslaught. It's like 15:15 on the timer. Um, that's interesting. 15 is the number of the devil. So this, to me, does feel very like it's the number of the devil card. So this to me feels very much like somebody is freeing themselves from this prison of like self-doubt, of allowing other people to walk all over you because you don't have enough self-respect, because you don't believe that you're deserving of that respect, of respect from other people, much less yourself. And it also feels like this person is somebody who, it's like they've been told they're wrong their entire life. They've been told everything about themselves is wrong. And for example, this might be like somebody who in the past, when they've had arguments, maybe like they went off on somebody because that person really did something that was harmful or hurtful to them, and so they went off and they like snapped and said some very harsh, cruel things, maybe even. But in that harshness and cruelty, there was still truth. And the person A would then regret the way that they spoke, maybe say like that this caused problems for them, and think that there was something extremely wrong with them because they spoke this way or like continued to speak this way. This is just an example. Again, take it however it resonates. But it feels very much like person A, like I said, they've been told they're wrong, so they believed it. And then and like this has been something that they've internalized and held on to their entire life, right? And maybe the way that they spoke was harsh, and they do regret it, and there's a better way of speaking, a better way of communicating or something like that, even though that's not really what I'm getting here, to be honest. It's like, if person A is really a marginalized person, then when people do things that are hurtful and careless around them, they may not have these really terrible intentions, but person A, the harm that they have to live with on a daily basis, and the harm that they had to incur by people being careless, person A would feel, they would have to they would believe those kinds of things, right? Like, not only believe it, so they have to like fight the belief and like speak kinder to themselves and other people speak of them, right? But then the other thing too is marginalized people, how do I want to put this? Stress for prolonged periods of time creates things like autoimmune diseases, chronic illness, chronic pain. The body actually can only like metabolize stress for so long before it starts to say this, like, I can't, this stress is actually too much for my body. And then now there are like health problems and all those things involved, right? And this happens to people of color at disproportionate rates. Marginalized people, when they're having to deal with others not considering them and the pain, the harm that comes from that, it's like other people can't really fathom the harm that they're causing, and they can't fathom, like, it doesn't click for them. So even having to stand up for yourself, if you're person A, it takes a lot more out of you than it does out of healthy people or like than it does out of like people who are like have more privilege and aren't as marginalized as you, right? This is just an example. So it seems like in this situation, person A finally came out of it with some self-respect, and even after what they said or whatever they did that like caused other people maybe blaming them for and causing a rift, um they're standing in their power. Person A is not chasing. Oof. Person A is not chasing anybody. It's like, if you're not going to treat me well, I'm just going to withdraw my energy. Yeah, that's what it's feeling like right now. Let's put these away and get a little bit of information on person B and C, the other two people or groups of people, parties in this conflict, because we're already like 20 minutes in. Ooh, excuse me. All right, Spirit, what's up with person B? Who are they? We have, the first thing that came out was the 5 of Chalices. We have the 4 of Chalices in reverse. Interesting. And the 2 of Pentacles also in reverse. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This is, person B is not engaging in self-care and really needs to. Why? Let's see. Because person B is dealing with a big sense of loss. It's like something big has changed recently, and this may be maybe like a friend group or something like that. The dynamics between them and someone else. But they are feeling very lost. They're feeling a sense of despair. This loss is for something good, however. So, again, that wind really confirming. This is like a good loss, and I think that person B knows this. No. Actually, with this 4 of Chalices in reverse, I think that person B is actually struggling to see the good in this loss. The 2 of Pentacles in reverse is like indecision. They don't know what to do about this connection, about this conflict. And then with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, not engaging in self-care. Interesting, because we had the Lovers come out for person A, and we have the Lovers, which is the Lady and the Lord, coming out for person B. This might have been a relationship, like a romantic relationship, partnership of some sort. We've got the 7 of Chalices in reverse. This person is definitely dealing, it seems like, with some self-doubt, like difficulty with magical thinking. Got the Queen of Wands at the bottom. This is a very creative person, a gentle person, a compassionate person. Spirit, give me a little clarification on the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. We've got the Hermit with the Holly King coming out. Six of Wands is a big triumph, big victory, and the Crone, which is like the Strength card. Person B is currently in a moment of being solitary. They're taking a step back. And this is them standing in their strength. Seeing Leo energy, Capricorn energy. This person is going through a transformation but they're resisting it. It seems like the argument itself, from this person's perspective, happened because they because of resisting this transformation. This seems to me like someone who like has their head in the clouds. They're like la 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 la, and that itself was causing friction in this dynamic. To me, it seems like this actually is a person who is like extremely privileged. Everything, like, they may not feel this way, but everything goes right for them because it's like they've had everything handed to them. And this doesn't make them a bad person whatsoever. But I think that the feeling of loss is because they were called out. I think that they were called out at least by, we haven't looked at person C yet, but I think that they were at least called out by person or group A. Sorry. There's definitely like a washing machine going off downstairs right now because it's just going crazy all over the place. Hopefully the camera it's vibrating a little bit. Hopefully it won't be for too long, and hopefully you'll be able to see me. But yeah, it feels that person B was called out. They did not like the way that they were called out. And when they were called out for everything going right for them, and because of everything going right for them, they just had their heads in the clouds. That's what it feels like to me. And so this has plunged them into a moment of not caring for themselves. It's a moment of solitude, but it's a solitude that it's not like self-isolation, like from depression. It's like recognizing, oh, there is something here I need to look at and I need to listen to. And to person B's credit, because they're such a compassionate person, they do sincerely care. They do sincerely care about what transpired here and the lesson that they needed to learn. And so they are doing their best to integrate that lesson. And I think that no matter what the age of this person, they have entered and are entering this era of the crone. Because even after the crone, we see like the Queen of Wands, who's like an older woman. So it's like someone who's gaining a lot of wisdom here. And again, it doesn't matter their age, because this is somebody who presented very youthful. You can see like the youth here also in this card. This is someone who presented very youthful, very naive. Some more howling wind confirming. And now, because of this conflict, and because of the loss that they're having to face, because it's like, I think that they may, group or person A at the least, because we don't know yet what's going on with person C, but group or person A kind of like told them off, stood in their power by telling them off, and it seems like they haven't even pursued this friendship or relationship or anything yet. That washing machine. It's so funny how everything in my like on my desk just vibrates every time that washing machine goes off. Hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much. Yeah, it seems that person or group A must have mentioned something in this conflict to person or group B. And they're now in a moment where they're like taking some time to themselves to integrate this lesson, to to integrate the lesson, and to like, I have to make sure, to integrate the lesson and to make sure that they're like actually learning it, that they're not moving on before it's time yet. There's also like this feeling of waiting, that they're supposed to, it's like they're not, I don't think that this person or group B has tried to reach out since the conflict, or if they have, somehow communication was already blocked. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know, like, I don't take anything as a coincidence, so I feel like that whenever I hear those sirens, it always comes in a time when I'm talking about something being very painful, feeling like a death of some sort. Since we have this Five of Chalices, this is a very, very painful moment for person B. It feels like there is some urgency to the situation, like something needs to be taken care of in an urgent manner. Ace of Chalices coming out. This definitely, that the urgency has to do with emotions. It does feel like their emotions are very volatile right now. A Knight of Pentacles. This person realizes that they need to come in with an offer of servitude, an offer of humility and stability, in order for, so if this is like a love offer, for some people that's going to be true, because we've seen the Lovers come out, and you might be lovers, it might be like person A and person B are lovers. This could also be a throuple. We'll see what comes out for person C. But yeah, we've got the Knight of Pentacles coming out, meaning like there's like, this person really feels urgency with moving forward. I think that, you know, if this person, let's say this is a person who experiences a lot of privilege and they genuinely care about the oppression of marginalized people, like person or group A, then they are trying to balance their emotions and offer support in a new way because of this conflict. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on with person C right now, especially regarding this conflict. Who is person C? Lots of water energy, by the way, for person or group B. So this could be water signs like Pisces, Scorpio, not Aquarius, but Aquarius is like the water sign of the air signs. So close enough. And the other one, Cancer. Okay. Person C, we have 10 of Stones coming out in reverse, so that's like 10 of Pentacles in reverse. At the bottom of the deck, we have 3 of Stones in reverse. Creativity, it says. Person C's home life right now feels very unstable, very insecure. This conflict seems to have really destabilized them a lot. Their ability to move forward is currently very impeded. They have like no ability to think outside of the box because there's a lot of stress going on for this person, it feels like. A lot of like mental fog. Feeling disconnected from self, disconnected from ancestry, disconnected from community. We have 9 of Swords, or 9 of Arrows in this deck. Dedication. It's a very solitary card. Seems like they're spending a lot of time by themselves. We got 4 of Celebration, 4 of Bows, Celebration. So that's 4 of Arrows. That's 4 of Wands, sorry. That's very interesting because 4 of Wands is like stability in the home. And the 10 of Pentacles is like instability. So this person is finding more to celebrate within themselves by being solitary, by being alone. Ace of Vessels, like Ace of Cups, the Waters of Life in reverse. And we just picked out the Ace of Chalices, or the Ace of Cups, right side up in the for person B. So it could actually be that person B, the person who they want to be in servitude to, is person C. Okay, we've got the 9 of Cups, 9 of Vessels at the bottom. Meaning like they're like really isolating themselves in a negative way. I think that they're not able to see this. I think that this is speaking directly to not being able to see person B. As helpful. They're currently not seeing a future with person B. They're seeing more of a future for themselves in solitude, in independence. But there's also like loneliness because of that. Five of Stones or 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Endurance. It's feeling like it's a very long road for them. And then we've got the Four of Vessels, Four of Cups, boredom at the bottom. And remember, we had the Four of Cups come out for person or group 1 or A. I think that this is an indication that person C was also hurt by person A, and so they can't really see a future with them either. Even though it seems that person A may have genuinely wanted to work things out with them, it just seems like it's too long of a road. So this person is finding a lot more stability and happiness on their own. Four of Arrows, also Four of Swords, needing rest. Now at the bottom we have the Page of Vessels in reverse, Page of Cups with the otter. Person C, it seems like they are the one who's been hurt the most in this situation, actually. And this is not to compare. To say, like, oh, you know, like, so-and-so's pain doesn't... It's not as valid because person C's pain is more valid. But I think that person C, this emotional upset has happened made them feel very lonely, very depleted in general. This is a moment that is causing transformation for them, though. Knight of Vessels with the eel spirit. This transformation they're going through is very electric. Got the Nine of Wands at the bottom with respect. Definitely learning how to find self-respect in this, and I think that that's making them feel alive. The more they lean into self-respect, the more they feel alive. And the more that they're not worried about losing friends. It's like person C gives me the vibe like they would have liked to have been friends with everybody. And so there's a little bit of people pleasing attached to this. I don't think that they did anything wrong. But I think that they weren't aware of how they weren't aware of, I don't even know what they weren't aware of. It's just like when they were made aware of it, what were they not aware of? Five of Bows in reverse, empowerment. They were not aware of the ways that they were giving up their power to other people. Page of Stones, which is Pentacles. The Lynx. They were not aware of how they were actually also avoiding a lesson for themselves. It's like this is someone who, it gives me it reads naive to me. It's somebody who's they want to be friends with everybody so bad. This also might be, this is not going to be the case for everybody, but for some people watching this, the conflict was between a marginalized person or group of people and then two other people or groups with privilege. So it's this person C really could not see how their own privilege was making them unsafe for other people. Or yeah, and it's like I almost like get the sense that they were, when they were hearing this stuff from, I'm assuming person A, because it sounds like person A kind of like laid down the law. That's what it feels like to me. That when they did so, this began a very transformative energy for person or groups B and C. It seems to me like B did not understand the harms that they were causing, and C, it wasn't so much about the harms that they were causing as much as it was about the fact that the big hurt that they may be dealing with right now may be that they were rejected in some way by person A, person B, both. That part's a little unclear, but it feels like this spirit of rejection. And they're dealing with that rejection right now. It's like they're off licking their wounds. Let's get like a little bit more clarification here about all of the players in this game. Just trying to keep everything organized, because there's so many. There's like three different timelines, more than that, because it's like this doesn't seem like one of those situations where it's like we were all fighting and we all agree on like what the fight was about. It's like there's complicated layers to this. So let's see. How is person A feeling about person B right now, regarding this conflict? What is their opinion of person B? Yeah, we've got the Fool in reverse. This really speaks to that like Pollyanna vibe, that like being a little bit too naive for everyone's good. We also see King of Wands. Person A sees person B as someone who has the power to stand in their intuition, somebody who does have a lot of privilege, and is naive. And we see Judgment at the bottom of the deck. So there is a lot of judgment. Person A is really judging person B. Even if there's love there, we can still judge the people that we love. There's immaturity with this Three of Pentacles. It feels like almost feels like person A and person B are just on different wavelengths. Like person A is the Empress, person B is operating in like the Three of Pentacles energy, where they're like learning and cultivating new skills. They see this as somebody who like there's endless conflicts with, but they're wanting the conflict to end. They're wanting the conflict to end. And dropping all kind. Give me a second. I'm dropping all these cards. It's too many that fell out, anyways. Yeah, person A sees person B as like the golden child. Like everything goes right for them. Person A kind of is hoping to block the blessings that are meant for person B. Why is that? I'll use this deck. Why is person A trying to block the blessings for person B? Person A is still cultivating something. And things are starting to go well for person A. Person A wrongly believes that person B is the reason for their hardships. Because person A is carrying a lot. We'll come back to that. Let's see, what is person A's opinion about person C? Person or group C. What's their opinion about them regarding this conflict? Probably because there has not really been a lot of communication here. It seems like person A is like they're like waiting to see what's going to happen with person C. They would like to be friends or for things to work out between them. But just like unsure, it feels like. And there's something about this that feels like a little bit, it's like this came out kind of like in this position. So this King of Pentacles, it's like person A is trying to decide with person C or group C if like they're working through the feelings of like wanting this to work out for selfish reasons or wanting to talk for selfish reasons. And wanting to talk to offer stability. It's like there's indecision about how to think about this or how to approach this in a way that is still like secure and stabilizing. Like it feels like maybe person A is working on building secure attachments with people. So that's why they're in this like waiting energy. Like they could decide that they're gonna like really go for it. But it feels like whatever happened in this conflict, that person A perceives person B to be the reason why things are not working out with person C. The reason why they're in this like waiting period that feels, it's like it makes them feel like they're a martyr. Two of Wands in reverse. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And because of that, they're actually not getting any work done. It's like there's things that they're supposed to be doing, steps they're supposed to be taking, not doing it. Not doing any of it. Again, Seven of Pentacles in reverse. They're not building Person A is supposed to be building towards the next step. They're not building towards the next step because they're like figuring out their emotions. They're overwhelmed with emotions, but it seems like things are starting to even out. It seems like things are starting to even out. What are they supposed to be building? Four of Cups. There we have it again. They're supposed to be working on their ability to be content. Person A is working on their ability to be content. This is harder said than done, especially for people. Oof, yeah, we've got the Tower in reverse. Person A might actually be somebody with a disability, or like chronic illness of some sort. It's like there's something in their body that's breaking down. And like I had mentioned before in about Person A, about autoimmune disorders and stuff like that happens to people who are marginalized at disproportional, like it happens at disproportional numbers to people who are marginalized because of the stress that they have to go through. And so then when you get to a place of burnout, it's really hard to see anything as good. And this conflict with person C involved has caused them to see how maybe they are just discontent all the time. And really like highlight the fact that they need to be able to be more playful. And less pessimistic, less judgmental. The Lovers. Yeah, again, this might be a throuple. But, you know, the Lovers also speaks about, we have the Chariot at the bottom. So this is like about slowing down. Lovers is about slowing down in this context. Slowing down, getting mastery over the mind because there's like very volatile emotions, volatile things going on, mental illness. Again, not person A's fault. It feels like person A, everything that they've gone through, why wouldn't they be dealing with mental illness and discontentment and having to carry more than they can handle and having to like build things from scratch, from the ground up? It feels like, and actually like person A is not building from the ground up. They've had to build from the ground up, but they're not a beginner anymore. They're like, they've made some progress, but still this progress has not like gotten them out of the shit, you know? How does person B feel about person or group A? How do they feel about them? How do they feel about group A or person A? Five of Athens. So it's like the Five of Swords. At the bottom of the deck, we have Eight of Wands in reverse. Their Eight of Wands is like jealousy. So it's like, let's get a little more information because it's either that person B is jealous of person A, and so that's why they were willing to fight in the first place, or they believe that person A is jealous and that's why they started the fight. Seven of Wands in reverse. They see this as High Priestess. Interesting. I think that there's two options here. It's that person B is like, well, don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's what my intuition is telling me to do. Or they're like, well, I guess I fumbled that one, and that person's intuition is telling them to kick me out. Let's get some clarification on this. What's their opinion? Got King of Swords coming out. And the Star in reverse. Yeah, person B does not see actually the value in person A. It's like they see person A as somebody who is a very strong communicator, who is well versed in setting boundaries. But somebody who like thinks of themselves very highly. They're like, who does person A think they are? Who do they think they are? King of Cups. And Six of Pentacles in reverse. Person B sees person A as somebody who is very mature, actually. Very serious. Somebody who either overgives or doesn't give enough. But like somebody whose ability, like reciprocity, is out of balance. Again with this seven of wands. Person B sees person A as somebody who they need to release from their life in order to achieve harmony and balance. And then let's see, how does person B feel about person C in this conflict? How do they feel about person C? We'll take this one, the Witch. It's like the Magician. They see them as somebody who, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, somebody they're building something with. Things are not going well right now, but they are hoping for things to turn around and believing that things will turn around. We have Four of Wands in reverse. There's definitely instability in this friendship right now, or this relationship. Queen of Athame, so that's the Queen of Swords. They spoke in a way that they regret. And that caused disharmony in this relationship. Eight of Pentacles. Right now they're building. Person B is building something new with person A, but they're also cultivating the skills needed to build things with person A. That's King of Athames. They're learning how to communicate better, how to have better boundaries. How to have better boundaries. It seems like this person actually crossed some boundaries with person C. They crossed some boundaries. King of Wands. And then we have the Ace of Cups. It was like this person This person really truly believed that they were offering friendship to person C. What they did with good intentions, which is why they believe that this can turn around with person C. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And the Hanged Man in reverse. So they're also in a moment. Person B is also in a moment of having to wait for person C. Wind is kicking out there. Having to wait for person C to come back around. And in the meantime, they are putting off. What are they putting off? They're putting off building these skills. The skills of the Ten of Cups. Ancestral, intuitive, spiritual skills. How does person C feel about person A in this conflict? What's their opinion? Their present opinion of person A. We have the World Tree. Wow, they think very highly of person A. Two of Bows. They're trying to make a decision about person A. I'm getting a download right now. This is going to be true for some of you. It might not be true for all of you. Person A, for some, when they spoke out in this conflict, they pitted themselves against person B. They were like, person B here is the problem. Person C is not the problem. So that is why I think, and the way that person A moved, I think that person C saw what they did as truthful. And this actually got them to start thinking about something. Not cultivating, like creating. It's really like a belief system. It shook person C's belief system, it feels like. Two of Arrows. Injustice. They feel that person A was unfairly treated. And they are really heavily weighing the decision about what to do next. Justice. That's so funny. The Woodward. This is the Justice card coming out on the bottom of the deck right after I pulled Injustice from the Two of Arrows. So this person is really caring about being fair to... Person C is caring about being fair to person A. Let's get a little more clarity. They would like to be friends with person A. And it's interesting because as I was pulling that, then this was like right underneath and I almost pulled it up too. This is the Two of Swords. So that's the Two of Arrows. They're trying to decide about like friendship, what they're going to do. But right now with the Queen of Cups, their emotions are very unstable. And so they're taking some time to figure out their emotional state before they move on. Because for some of them, it seems like, got the Eight of Cups, which does have some jealousy energy in it. It feels like they are noticing maybe that person A deals with some jealousy issues, but it doesn't feel like there's judgment in that. It feels like there's actually understanding about why somebody who's marginalized might be jealous of the privilege of others. But they're also trying to decide if this is something that they should walk away from. Again, Justice coming down out on the bottom of the card. Okay, so what is the thing that they're seeking justice for? Let me pull this other deck. You're probably not gonna be able to see it because it's like the Manara deck, so sometimes it's a little spicy, but it helps with the relationships, with talking about relationships. So what's the injustice that person C is seeing here with person A? What's the injustice person C sees with person A in this conflict? Ten of Wands. 10 of Fire. They see that person A has been having to carry way too much, and that there's actually too much blame being placed on person A. I think they can see that A has been scapegoated in this situation. 5 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, I can't really show you. Here we go. We can do that. At the bottom of the deck. This person sees that person C sees that person A has lost a lot in this conflict, in this situation, in a situation. What do they want to do about it? I would really love it if cards just stopped flying everywhere. Three of Cups in reverse. They're definitely trying to decide what they're going to do about their friendship, especially their friendship, I think, with person B. And then we've got the Empress. I can't really show you this one. The Empress at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, I think that's why person C is taking their time. They don't really know what to do yet about this connection, about this friendship, about whatever it is. And let's see, how is person C feeling about person B? The Pole Star. Okay, there's a lot of love. They see person B as somebody they have a lot of love for. 6 of Arrows at the bottom with transition. But somebody who maybe they cannot take into the next the next phase with them. They do see person B as somebody who is very privileged, maybe even more privileged than them. 2 of Stones, 2 of Pentacles with the challenge. They do see this as a challenging decision that they have to make about person B. Yeah, so they're not really sure who to believe in this conflict. Whether they should believe person A or person B. And then we have Ace of Arrows or Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck with the Breath of Life. Feeling like there was a big loss here. Big loss. Let's get some clarification on that. What's this big loss they feel? Page of Pentacles in reverse. They're actually feeling that to choose, it's like they have to choose between friends or people. They have to choose between person or group A or person in group B. And that choosing person or group B is either means that they are leaving person A behind or they're betraying person A in some way. You have the 3 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Feeling like things are stalled and stagnated right now with person B. Let's use this deck now. What do they feel is stagnated? why do they feel that there is stagnation? Seven of Cups. Can't actually show you that one. Seven of Water. Too many options. Feeling very confused. They need a little more mental clarity before they can make a decision. Five of Wands in reverse. A lot of internal conflict over what's the right thing to do. Nine of Wands in reverse. It feels like it's like they feel alone right now because of this conflict that happened. You have Judgment in reverse. This person is really having a hard time making a judgment call. They don't want to judge anyone. Three of Wands. They're trying, it's like they want to find stability and they're feeling so unstable. And Three of Swords. They're heartbroken by what person B has done. But they're also actually trying to practice secure attachment. And they're seeing with the Fool in reverse, they also see person B as the Fool in reverse the way that person A sees person B as the Fool in reverse. So they see this as somebody who is unreliable, unstable, could be a lot of fun energy, but like definitely unstable with this King of Pentacles and a little self-serving. So what's the future of the connection between person A or group A and person B or group B? What's the future of the connection? Yep, person A is freeing themselves from person B. I think person B is doing the same. They're both starting to build something new. But especially person A is using this opportunity to build something new. What are they building, Spirit? What are they building? There's a move coming. Move coming for person A. A change, a transition of some sort. Anything else you have to say about this? About this change or transition that person A is going through right now? I guess not. Guess that's what they need to know right now. We'll pull an oracle card for them. What does person A need to know about this change or transition that is coming for them, this move? What's the advice here, Spirit? We have number 59, Starfish Spirit, open to infinite possibility. So I think that one of the reasons why person A had to come in contact with person B was that they could actually see this energy of the Fool in action. I think that the reason why person A was even drawn to person B in the first place was because they had that energy of the Fool where they were just like open to anything. They were very adventurous. And I think that that's something that person A is learning that they need in order to manifest this new move and manifest like happiness in this next chapter, in this next phase. Let's go ahead and see then now, what is the future relationship between person A and person C. What's the future relationship between person A and person C? Unfortunately, we have the Three of Swords at the bottom. It seems like this is not going to end very well. We have the Seven of Swords. I think that person A and person C, someone is choosing to move on without this relationship, and I think that this is going to happen very, very quickly. Which one of them is choosing to move on from this relationship? The Moon. So this could be someone who's a water sign, whichever one of them is a water sign. I feel that actually that person C is the one who's going to be moving on pretty quickly, because there's a lot of water in person C's reading. A lot about instinct. I think they're learning how to move from instinct at this point. We've got the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom. They're learning how to follow their intuition. We also have this one at the bottom too. They're learning how to follow their intuition, and to go where they are wanted. They're learning how to see the world in a more realistic way. Although I will say that they're holding on to a little bit of pessimism after this. What's the advice for person C regarding this energy? What's the advice for person C regarding this energy? Lizard Spirit, dream the world into being. Number 38. Your thoughts, your beliefs, they dictate the way that you see the world. So I think that person C used to see the world through rose-colored glasses, and now those glasses have been removed. They're having a really difficult time embracing that part of themselves, because they're seeing themselves as a very naive person right now. And I think they're feeling disappointed with themselves because of that. So there's the need to actually return to that dreamer state. What's the future between person B and person C? The Battle Wagon in reverse. So this is like the Chariot in reverse. Things are slowing down between them quite a bit. Five of Pentacles, feeling left out in the cold. Knight of Pentacles. I think that person B is going to try to offer that servitude that I talked about to person C. We have Three of Pentacles. I think that the trust between them was broken already. The trust between them was broken. And I want to say, if you're person B and you're wanting person C back or something like that, and you're feeling like, you know, kind of left out in the cold right now, things that end for our highest good. Even if we do those things, even if we are the ones who cause those things to happen. Seven of Cups. There are options that are being removed. Five of Pentacles, again at the bottom. Oof. Unfortunately, this is going to be a wake-up call for person B. I don't think that their relationship with person C is ever going to be the same again. Unfortunately. Um, Justice in reverse. And that is because there was injustice here. And the Tower. There was injustice here. I think that person C recognized that person B was being very unfair, to a lot of people, to all parties involved. I think that this caused a tower, like this caused things to crumble for person B, as well as for person C. It caused everything to crumble for person A as well. I think that here's what you need to know. There's no bad guy in this situation. Person B needed to create this tower for themselves and for other people because there was something here that was like built on an illusion. And by them being this like la-di-da self and not really having the ability to like plan and have foresight in the like to like think about the way that they are acting and what they're saying before they say it and do it, I think that was necessary for people here. So they didn't do anything wrong, really. Even if they did something wrong, like it was something that was meant to happen. It was something that was meant to happen all along. Person B needed to learn something from this. Person A needed to learn something from this. Person C needed to learn something from this. Four of Cups in reverse. And the punishment at the bottom of the deck, that's 12. What's 12? It's the one that comes before death. The Hanged Man. What does the Four of Cups here mean? Things are going to turn around for person B because they're also going to be they're like, this is an offer of a new beginning for them that is going to create stability in their lives and abundance. So this ending had to happen for their highest good as well. And it currently doesn't feel like a gift or a blessing, but it is a blessing in disguise. What's the advice here for person B? Number 58, Stag Spirit, take the lead in reverse. Okay, so it's actually time for person B to start listening to more, to take a little bit more of a back seat. This is supposed to serve their highest good. Right now it doesn't feel the greatest because when you have privilege and now you have to not take more, like when you notice that and you have to not take more than others, and you have to be aware of like how much you speak in comparison to others, it can feel very unfair because they're used to this like golden treatment. They're used to being the golden child, and now not being the golden child feels like they have to dim their light, like they have to, like they can't be as free as they would like to be. And so there's something about it that feels very restricting, very limiting. It feels like they're being persecuted. Sorry, it was an hour and a half and I'm still talking. So my throat is getting dry. But it feels to me like person B has been used to being treated in certain ways and seen in certain ways, like seen as special. And that right now they're having to take a step back. They're having to intentionally take a step back, which is very difficult to do when you've been like when you have more privilege than someone else. When you have more privilege than someone else, but you don't feel like you had that privilege because like you've also been, mistreated in your own ways, then it feels like somebody's coming in and telling you like that you're not good and that you're too selfish, or it could feel like maybe they're on some sort of witch hunt. So it's important that person B sits with that and takes the time to sit with that. Like it's gonna feel pretty bad, but it's not something bad that's happening to them. Okay. It's part of Spirit's plan for them. The number 13 is also associated with this card, which is like the number of the death card in tarot. So it is going to feel like a death, and it's going to take patience, and actually it's going to take hard work. It's going to take this person putting in work. What is the work that person B needs to do? What's the inner work that person B needs to do? Ooh, this feels so relevant. Mermaid with butterflies, number 30. Butterflies are so transformative. They are a symbol of transformation. I'm going to read this one for you, actually. So if you are person 30, or just know who person 30, or I'm sorry, person B, know who person B is, then this is the message for person B. Rise above your circumstances. It is time to rise above your current circumstances. You have been content with lesser and corrupted things for too long. Look inside your most inner self and realize that you are not happy with aspects of your situation. Deep down, you realize that you are better than your circumstances. Perhaps your circle of friends is pulling you down or in a bad direction. Perhaps your work is beneath your skills, abilities, and aspirations, but you are having trouble breaking free. It could be your home life, your significant other, your neighborhood, or your domicile itself. That is not up to your standards. However, just like the butterfly mermaid, you have seen a path to peace and purity. Shake off the corrupt acquaintances and the duties that are beneath you. Aspire for more spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually. Take inspiration from the noble butterfly. Take wing and rise above. So yeah, if you're person B, you actually might be feeling like person A was just like completely in the wrong. I don't see it that way. I see that you were both in the wrong, honestly. In your own ways. And I see that, like, honestly, there should have been more grace for person A because of, like, their position and where they were going, what they were going through. And I don't think that person B was able to meet person A in that way. So I don't want anyone to villainize anyone who, like, from this reading. If you're in a conflict with someone, I don't want you to look at them and go like, it was their fault. They did this, because I don't really think that that is the case in this reading, that it was like one person was a problem and the other person was not. So I think that really this conflict was for everybody. It was for everybody to, like, there was like there was stagnation in this connection. You were not serving each other well. And so there was the need to move on. There was a need to release each other so that you could all transform. Like, you're all in different areas of your life. What's the shadow work necessary for person A? What do they need to know to serve their highest good as they're moving forward from here and moving? They're moving to a new place. They're transitioning. It's interesting, I used the word transitioning before I was talking about like trans people. So there might be somebody who has like just recently started taking HRT or like scheduled a surgery or just made the decision to start claiming their identity. But either way, transition is, I don't think that word is a coincidence. So for some people, there is going to be a move. For some people, the move or the transition is literally like transitioning sexes or genders, whatever. You know, like, what's the shadow work that person A needs to be doing right now? We have Manta Ray Mermaid. This one came out in reverse. I'll show it to you this way though so you can see it. Came out in reverse. Associated with the number 20. I'll read that one for you too. I don't know this oracle deck as well as I know the animal spirit one. It's speaking to me though of like freedom from like freeing yourself from burnout and from emotional turmoil. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Scapegoat is, remember how I mentioned something about person A being a scapegoat? I'm just going to read actually the poem that comes with it, because they all come with poems or songs. Tales of the deep from swabs at night paint a most unfavorable light upon a mysterious ethereal being, graceful as a bird in flight. Scapegoat for casualties at sea, sunken ships are blamed on thee, yet fear and slander cannot curb your charming curiosity. The message here is hold your tongue. You will soon find out some curious information about a family member or acquaintance. Tempting though it may be, you must resist the urge to gossip about the situation. Not having all of the facts leaves you open to the possibility of misrepresentation, and anyways, it is none of your business. Yeah, I'm gonna say like this feels like it's so directly related to this that it's not even just about like family members. It's also about like friends, or whoever it is that you are arguing with. Resist the urge to trash talk them. I think that person A, you know, like I had mentioned that there may have been some harsh words at the beginning of this reading. I mentioned that. And so I think that there is the need to stop adding to that, to be careful about the way that they speak about this other person. And then what is the advice, the shadow work that's needed for person C? So if you were person C in this situation and you got really hurt from it, what is the shadow work that needs to be done for person C? Ooh, Storm Chaser in reverse, number 29. This is what it looks like. Like, this again kind of feels to me like that Pollyanna spirit, like somebody in reverse, like somebody who like avoids conflict with people. And yeah, let's see what this says. The message here: seek out your inspiration. You may experience a lack of motivation and inspiration. Go find it. Bask in the sun, walk in nature, read good books, or travel to new places. Look for the spark that is missing in your life. Pursue it aggressively, and it will be yours. Yeah, if you are person C, right now is the time to actually be diving into the things that make you happy, the things that bring you life, bring you joy, because that's what's going to heal this brokenhearted energy that you've been living with because of this conflict. Okay, I hope that this has helped everybody. I think that, in this situation, it doesn't seem like there were any real winners. The only winning that there was is people actually like leaving behind things that were not serving them and moving on into like a higher calling, into their higher path. But it also seems that there were a lot of losers in this situation. So there's a lot of self-reflection that still needs to be done amongst all three of you. Even if you never speak to each other again, even if this never becomes anything again, that just like right now is a time for reflecting on why and how things got to be the way that they were. I, again, hope that this helps. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.